A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1, live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. Bringing you the news, I'm Jad Abdin.
And I'm Rochelle Tumodara. Let's start off with a look at our headlines for tonight.
Ranil Wickramasinghe reappears in court over 16 million rupee misuse allegation. Court orders statements from doctors who gave medical reports. Hezbollah responds to allegations of attempting to buy gold worth $2 million. Attorney remanded over alleged support in Gane Mulla Sanjiva murder. Agents who owe millions to the National Lotteries Board revealed.
And down to those stories in detail in your top story this evening. Fort Magistrate Isuru Nethikumara instructed that separate statements be obtained regarding the medical recommendations provided by 6 doctors, which led to bail being granted to former President Ranil Wickramasinghe, who is accused of using over 16 million rupees in public funds for a private overseas trip. This directive was issued in response to a request made by Additional Solicitor General Dileepa Piris, who asked that the relevant medical reports be re-examined by a 3-member medical board, which includes the Colombo Judicial Medical Officer.
The case filed against former President Ranil Wickramasinghe was taken up again before the Fort Magistrate. When Wickramasinghe arrived in court, a group including several former ministers gathered near the court premises.
Hello.
Additional Solicitor General Dileepa Piris pointed out that there are serious doubts regarding the accuracy of the medical reports submitted in support of granting bail to former President Ranil Wickramasinghe. Court:
Your Honour, this suspect is not only accused of misappropriating public funds, but also of manipulating the judicial process itself. On a previous occasion, President's counsel Anuja Premaratna appeared on behalf of the suspect and submitted several medical reports in support of a bail application. It was claimed that the suspect was suffering from a condition involving the degeneration of heart tissue. However, the magistrate did not issue any order to obtain a medical report regarding the suspect's health while in remand custody. Despite this, Premaratna presented a medical report allegedly compiled by a 6-member medical board, including Dr. K.P.A. Vijay-Singhe, the Deputy Director of the National Hospital. How is it possible for the Deputy Director of the National Hospital to convene such a medical report without a court order? Can an ordinary patient obtain a report like this? No, Your Honour. This was done solely at the request of the suspect's legal team. These medical reports were submitted directly to the court without even being presented to the complainant. How can the court accept a private medical report without proper examination or verification by a judicial medical officer? These reports are highly questionable, Your Honour.
End quote. Additional Solicitor General Dileepa Piris today raised concerns about the conduct of former President Ranil Wickremesinghe while receiving treatment in the intensive care unit, describing it as questionable. Quote,
Your Honour, the suspect, while supposedly receiving treatment in the ICU, was reading a book by Boris Johnson. What kind of ICU allows patients to read books like that? The ICU is meant for patients in critical condition. This suspect did not even spend a full hour in remand custody before being transferred to the National Hospital's ICU, claiming severe health issues. But from what I've seen, patients in the ICU are usually transported on trolleys with medical reports placed on their chests. I have never heard of someone receiving ICU treatment and then directly being allowed to leave. Normally, patients are moved to another ward after ICU treatment, and only then do they make necessary arrangements to be discharged. But this suspect received treatment in the ICU and then left straight from there. And he didn't leave quietly either. He posed for selfies with doctors, smiling. These weren't candid photos. They were deliberately posed. It was only after seeing these photos that I realized even photo shoots are possible inside the ICU. A narrative was created that the suspect was critically ill just to secure bail. The judicial process was manipulated and distorted to obtain bail. Your Honour, these medical reports are highly suspicious. They must be reviewed by a qualified 3-member judicial board, including a judicial medical officer. A proper, formal medical report must be summoned.
End quote. President's counsel Tilak Marapana, appearing on behalf of the suspect, stated that his client had undertaken an official visit based on a formal letter of invitation and that the arrest was made without the complainant conducting a proper inquiry into the matter. Quote,
Your Honour, my client undertook this journey in response to an official invitation. The complainant arrested him without conducting a proper investigation into the nature of the visit. On the day of the arrest, my client didn't even get a chance to eat. He was in court for nearly 10 hours. He suffers from a heart condition, which is why he had to be admitted to the intensive care unit.
End quote. At this point, the magistrate raised a question. Quote,
But on the previous hearing date, it was stated that the suspect was suffering from multiple health conditions.
End quote. Responding to this, President's counsel Marapana said, quote,
Yes, Your Honour, but he was hospitalized due to the conditions that arose on the day of the hearing. Because of his heart condition, he had to be admitted to the ICU.
End quote. Marapana further stated that although former President Ranil Wickremesinghe has several blockages in his heart, blood is being rerouted through alternate pathways. Quote,
Your Honour, my client has several blockages in his heart and is receiving treatment for a cardiac condition. Medical investigations conducted in Singapore revealed that although there are blockages, blood is flowing through alternate routes around obstructed areas.
At this point, the magistrate posed a question. Quote,
Was this discovered after bail was granted?
End quote. Responding to the question, President's counsel Marapana said Ranil Wickremesinghe has been receiving treatment for heart disease since 2017. These findings were revealed during medical examinations conducted during that period. After considering the submissions, the magistrate ordered for the case to be recalled on the 28th of January at 2 p.m. Investigating officers were instructed to complete their inquiries and present their findings to the court by that date. Quote,
After considering the facts related to the suspect's bail, it is clear that the presiding magistrate issued the order based on satisfaction with the documents presented. Therefore, the bail order will not be reconsidered at this stage. However, I instruct that statements be obtained from the 6 doctors who provided the medical recommendations in the submitted reports. If those reports are found to be accurate, the bail order will remain unchanged. Furthermore, this is not a complex investigation. The key issue is whether the suspect received an official invitation for the overseas visit. The relevant institutions must be contacted to verify this. Once that is confirmed, the investigation can be concluded based on that finding. The final decision in this case will depend on that verification. Therefore, I instruct the investigating officers to complete their inquiries and present their findings to the court on the next hearing date.
End quote. The case was ordered to be recalled on the 28th of January at 2 p.m. Magistrate Isuru Nethikumara inquired about the position of the complainant regarding former Presidential Secretary Saman Ekanayake, whose name was mentioned in the B report. Responding to the inquiry, Deputy Solicitor General Vasantha Pereira stated that the stance on Ekanayake would be presented to the court upon the conclusion of the full investigation. After court proceedings concluded, former President Ranil Wickremesinghe exited the court premises.
Member of Parliament representing the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress MLAM Hizbullah held a press conference today to clarify reports that he was involved in a $2 million gold scam in the Republic of Ghana. The MP stated that he had not invested any funds in the transaction. He stated that his involvement was solely to assist foreign acquaintances in facilitating the deal.
What is this gold scam?
In recent days, foreign media outlets have been reporting on a controversial deal that recently took place in Ghana. According to these reports, a group of Ghanaians allegedly received $2 million from Member of Parliament MLAM Hizbullah in 2023, promising to supply him with gold. At current exchange rates, this sum amounts to over 600 million Sri Lankan rupees. The reports further allege that after receiving the money, the individuals cut off all contact with the MP. Later, they reportedly attempted to sell him 50 kilograms of gold. It is also claimed that a memorandum of understanding was signed to apply a sense of legitimacy to the transaction. Subsequently, MP Hizbullah and his associates filed a complaint with Ghana's National Security Council alleging that the group had defrauded them by substituting the promised gold with another type of metal. Based on this complaint, 11 suspects were arrested and produced before court. They have since been released on bail. Today, MP MLAM Hizbullah addressed the incident, providing his account of the events.
That last few days, there are some rumors against me that saying that I have lost $2 million in Ghana gold business. So I want to give us some explanation. We didn't lose even single dollar. 3 Arab friends, they invited me as a friends. I go with them. I go to Ghana. They send me the ticket, ticket, flight, my visa, my hotel, everything. They book, they do everything. So I go with them as a consultant. This is really a private matter, nothing to do with the politics or nothing to do with anything.
It was revealed today that a group of individuals appointed as lottery sales agents based on political affiliations have failed to remit a significant amount of money to the National Lotteries Board. This disclosure was made during a media briefing attended by the chairman of the National Lotteries Board, MD C.A. Pereira. Here are the key points that emerged from the briefing. There are numerous district agents who have been selling tickets for the National Lotteries Board. Some of them have not paid their dues for over 5 years. Lakisha Tharangika Rajapaksha from Kuliyapitiya, Kurunagala owes 9.8 million rupees since 2019-2020. That means tickets were sold to 400,000 people at 40 rupees per ticket. After investigating the reasons, we found that this agent was appointed on the 16th June 2016 upon the recommendation of then Education Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasam. Even after owing 9.8 million rupees, no action was taken. When we checked her marriage certificate, we found the name Sampath Karyavasam. Further checks revealed that Sampath Karyavasam's father is the same as Akila Viraj Karyavasam's father. This clearly shows the appointment was issued to the minister's relative. Another case involves an agent who owes 2.1 million rupees since 2019. Her name is Disanayaka Mudyansalagi Geetha Nandani. This recommendation for this district agent position came from MP Hesha Vithanage. Her application even listed MP Hesha Vithanage's email address. The marriage certificate confirmed she is the wife of MP Hesha Vithanage. The fraud investigation unit pursued these cases for a long time. Eventually, when asked why payments were not made, the agent claimed it was because her representatives had made payments. Later, the fraud investigation unit summoned the representatives and all denied any involvement, calling the claim false. Now we have to suspend all operations and recover the money owed to the government from tickets purchased by the public. Misappropriating these funds is a violation under the Public Property Act. Yet, no legal action has been taken. In the Kuliyapitiya case, 4.1 million rupees was allegedly paid to a board employee. This matter is now with the CID. When we checked the marriage certificate of this employee, it was signed by Karu Jayasuriya and Rajita Sena Ratna. Clearly, Akila Viraj Karyavasam is involved. He even wrote to Ravi Karunanayake requesting appointments. At that time, the chairperson was Shamila Pereira, who now holds a position in the UNP. The money is also given to a person within, and that person's marriage was signed by two former powerful members of the United National Party. That person eventually fled the country, and there is a balance of over 5 million rupees that is due. We will move this to the Fraud Investigation Division and they can pursue the matter under the Public Property Act. Another individual, A.D. Dharmapala, owes 2.38 million rupees. He was recommended on the 28th December 2015 by then Agriculture Minister Duminda Disanayaka. At that time, the chairperson was Sharmila Pereira. Another case involves D.D. Pereira, who owes 609,000 rupees and was appointed on the 15th December 2011 upon recommendation by Navin Disanayaka, then Minister of Public Administration. J.M. Arya Singha owes 439,400 rupees and was recommended by Ravi Karunanayake, then Finance Minister. Dr. Aruna Sirivardhana, also of the UNP, has not made payments. Lanka Super Fortunes owns 194,000 rupees and was appointed on the 8th March 2013 upon recommendation by Gamini Lokuge, then Minister of Labour. We are filing complaints with the Fraud Investigation Unit and the CID against all individuals who misappropriated public funds and those appointed through political influence. There will be no compromise.
වංචා විමර්ශනය සහ අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ පැමිණිලි කරනවා. කිසිම අතරමඟ සමාදානයක් නැහැ.
Former Minister Ravi Karunanayake was grilled on the allegation related to the Lotteries Board.
දැන් ඔය ජාතික ලොතරැයි මණ්ඩලයේ අද ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් සාකච්ඡාවක් තියලා කියනවා බොහෝ අය මේකට මේ ණයයි කියලා. ඒතකොට මෙතන අරන් තියෙන ලක්ෂිකා තරංගනී රාජපක්ෂ කියලා කෙනෙක් දැන් අවුරුදු 5ක් තිස්සේ ලක්ෂ 41ක් තව ගෙවන්න තියෙන 90 ලක්ෂ 95ක් විතර ණයයි කියලා. දැන් මේ සම්බන්ධව ඔබතුමා දන්නවා ඉතින් මොකද මේ තත්ත්වය පිළිබඳව? ඔබතුමා ඉන්න කාලේ මේක වෙලා තියෙනවා කියලා.
නෑ අපි ඒවා ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක පරිපාලනයනේ. ඒකේ කවුරුත් අමතුරුම වශයෙන් දෙන්නේ නැහැ මේගොල්ලන්ට ගෙවන්න එපයි කියලා. ඒ පරිපාලන ප්‍රශ්න.
ඒ කියන්නේ ඔබතුමා සොයන්න අවශ්‍ය නැද්ද? ඔබතුමා බැලුවේ නැද්ද? ඒ කියන්නේ මෙහෙම මේ මුදල්.
ඒක ඒගොල්ලෝගේ ජෙනරල් සාමාන්‍ය අධිකාරිය ඉන්නේ ඒව සම්බන්ධයෙන් කරන්නනේ. මේක කිව්වොත් ඇමතිවරේ ගන්න එපයි කියලා කිව්වොත් ඒක වෙනම දෙයක්. ඒ වගේව වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Police say that the lawyer arrested on suspicion of aiding and abetting the murder of Ganemulla Sanjeeva will be interrogated for 72 hours under a detention order. The suspect was taken into custody by the CID in Kadavada last night.
It has been revealed that the lawyer suspected of aiding and abetting the murder of Ganemulla Sanjeeva had provided the gunman with clothing, neckties, 2 law books, including a copy of the penal code which was used to conceal the revolver. According to the police, the lawyer is also suspected of supplying the shooter with an attorney's vehicle pass and an identification card. Investigations have further uncovered that the suspect had travelled to Dubai for about a week shortly after the murder of Ganemulla Sanjeeva. Police are currently examining the financial transactions and deposits in her bank accounts. The 55-year-old lawyer was arrested by a team of officers from the Criminal Investigation Department. Ganemulla Sanjeeva was shot dead inside the Halsdorf court complex on the 19th February after being brought to court by prison officers. The shooter was apprehended by authorities on the same day. Sirasa, who is alleged to have smuggled the firearm into the court premises, was arrested on the 14th of October while in exile in Nepal. Police have released video footage of her arrest to the media. The video depicts the moment J.K. Bai contacted Ishara Sewandi after his arrest. Meanwhile, police suspect that the firearms found in the possession of Anandan, a suspect accused of assisting Sirasa to flee to India, were once used by the LTTE. Further investigations are underway to confirm this connection. The Terrorism Investigation Division, or TID, states that the 3 organized criminals arrested at the Bandaranaike International Airport after being deported from India are currently being detained and interrogated. They are being held under the provisions of the Prevention of Terrorism Act.
The 3 arrested at the airport have been identified as 30-year-old Jeevarasan Sujipan, 26-year-old Ilango Isaidigan and Mahendran Yogaraj. According to the Terrorism Investigation Division, these criminals are found to be residents of Gandhinagar, Chettikulam, Nediyakulam and Vattukote areas. Police further revealed that these criminals are connected to the recent discovery of firearms from Vaunia and Kiribathgoda. Authorities surmise that the discovered weapons, including the firearms, are linked to the LTTE organization, and further investigations are underway to locate other weapons possibly hidden by the suspects. On the 21st of July, a former LTTE cadre was arrested by the police in Kiribathgoda. At the time of arrest, the suspect was in possession of a T-56 firearm and 56 bullets. Based on investigations conducted in connection with the arrest, 86 live hand grenades, 321 T-56 rounds, 3 sidearm bullets and 5,600 grams of narcotic pills were found hidden in a plot of land in Chettikulam, Vaunia.
A Saudi national who allegedly assaulted a flight attendant mid-air was taken into custody at the Bandaranaike International Airport and was released on bail.
Police said that the alleged assault occurred on the 26th of this month aboard a flight arriving from Saudi Arabia. According to a complaint lodged by Sri Lankan Airlines, the suspected foreign national was taken into custody in connection with the incident. He was subsequently produced before the Halsdorf Magistrates Court, where he was released on a cash bail of 15,000 rupees and a personal surety of 200,000 rupees. The next hearing of the case has been scheduled for the 3rd of November.
A fire that broke out this morning at an apartment complex on Dabare Mawat in Narayanpeta was extinguished.
A fire that broke out this morning on the 5th floor of an apartment complex on Dabare Mawat in Narayanpeta was subsequently brought under control. 7 residents who had been trapped inside the building were rescued by officers of the Colombo Municipal Council's Fire Brigade. 5 fire response teams from the Colombo Municipal Council Fire Brigade were deployed to contain the blaze. According to a senior police officer, the fire was extinguished with the assistance of the Sri Lanka Army, the police and local residents.
Now we 3 were sleeping, we didn't know. Our 4th guy heard the sirens, okay, so he knocked our door very hard like something has happened. So we just woke up and saw outside there is total like blackout, whole smoke was there. Then one fire rescue, one of them guy came inside our apartment and asked how many people are there. So he rescued us and came here outside. We are all safe.
ජීවිත මුදවාගත්තා ෆොරිනර්ස්ලා දෙන්නෙකුත් ලෝකල් ලේඩි කෙනෙකුත් අපි මුදවාගෙන තියෙනවා.
Newsfirst with the people.
The IMF has revised Sri Lanka's growth to 3.1% and stressed that the island nation must stay in course to secure economic stability.
The International Monetary Fund has revised Sri Lanka's economic growth forecast to 3.1% for 2026, reflecting a return to trend following a stronger than expected rebound from the country's recent economic crisis. Speaking on the outlook, Thomas Helbling, Deputy Director of the IMF's Asia and Pacific Department acknowledged the significant recovery Sri Lanka has experienced since its 2022-23 balance of payments crisis, which triggered a deep recession. He said that Sri Lanka had a strong rebound in growth following the crisis, supported by a reform program backed by the IMF. He noted that growth reached 5% last year and 4.8% in the first half of this year. Some of this rebound was due to normalization in economic activity, and some effects are temporary, and the IMF now sees the economy returning to its trend growth of 3.1%. A key component of the review was electricity pricing reform, which remains a continuous structural benchmark under the program. Helbling emphasized that the principle of cost recovery is central to reducing fiscal risks from state-owned enterprises, including utilities. He said that the government has continued to meet performance criteria, and the October assessment was positive, noting that it's too early to speculate on the next review, but the direction is encouraging. Addressing questions about revenue projections for 2028, Helbling clarified that the IMF's current focus is on 2025 and 2026 as reforms continue to take shape. He noted that reforms are progressing, and it's important for Sri Lanka to stay the course and complete its homegrown reform program to fully stabilize the economy. He added that longer-term concerns, including those about 2028, should be viewed in perspective.
The Sri Lanka Visually Impaired Graduates Association donated books to the Gammadda initiative today, supporting its program to provide learning resources to libraries across the country.
This initiative was launched today with the aim of recording audiobooks for visually impaired communities, creating new opportunities for them to enjoy literature regardless of physical limitations. As part of the program, books purchased and collected by Sri Lanka Visually Impaired Graduates Council were officially handed over to Gammadda at the Council's head office. Gammadda General Secretary Prasanna Thukorala, National Organizer Udevanyarachi, V4's National Organizer Gihan Udyoga, and others at the Gammadda team were present at this event.
An event to distribute school equipment to several schools in the Ampara district, funded by the people of India, was held in Nandivur today.
The event, held at Almasha Girls Higher Secondary School in Nindavur, was attended by Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, as the chief guest. With financial assistance from the people of India, school equipment was distributed to 8 schools in the Kalmuni educational zone of the Ampara district.
India and Sri Lanka share more than just geographical proximity. We share centuries of cultural and civilizational links. This fact underpins India's development cooperation with Sri Lanka. Supporting education and youth development in Sri Lanka represents our endeavor to uplift and empower future generations of this country. India's people-centric development assistance initiatives in Sri Lanka are bringing a positive impact in the everyday lives of Sri Lankans.
This valuable assistance will directly benefit hundreds of students who have been in need of better facilities for quite some time. Your Excellency, this is not the first time India has extended such goodwill to our people. During the recent economic crisis, when our country faced one of its toughest times in history, India was the first nation to come forward to help us. Through essential supplies, credit lines and humanitarian assistance, that timely support helped ease the burden of millions of Sri Lankans. I must take this opportunity to say that under your leadership, the High Commission of India has worked tirelessly and effectively to further strengthen the long-standing friendship between India and Sri Lanka.
The inauguration of houses constructed under Indian financial assistance was held in Uhana Mahakandya, Ampara. The project, which provides housing for 24 low-income families, was ceremonially opened by Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha. This marks the 17th model village constructed with Indian support, named the Mahatma Gandhi Model Village.
Major General Arunajasekara, the Deputy Minister of Defence, expressed profound appreciation for Japan's continued support in enhancing Sri Lanka's maritime security and disaster response capabilities. He was speaking during the port call of Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force vessel DD-108 Akibono at the port of Colombo.
The Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force vessel DD-108 Akibono made a port call at the Colombo port yesterday as part of the Indo-Pacific Deployment 2025. As part of the visit, a special ceremony was held yesterday evening to celebrate the 71st anniversary of the founding of the Japan Self-Defense Forces.
3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. Please give them a big round of applause.
In December this year, a PKO expert from Japan's Ground Self-Defense Force will conduct a seminar at KDU. Also in December, training on air rescue and medical evacuation will be conducted in Japan with participation from Sri Lankan Air Force. In January next year, Sri Lankan officials will be invited to Japan for a disaster response exercise focusing on HADR. Japan will also continue to provide support for Sri Lanka's maritime security and disaster response through both bilateral aid scheme and through the relevant international organizations, including the UNODC, as we have seen recently in cases such as the Information Fusion Center Colombo at Navy headquarters, VBSS training facilities in Trincomalee, and Doppler radar system in Puttalam.
It is with immense gratitude that I appreciate the government of Japan for its generous provision of advanced Japanese unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, to Sri Lankan Navy, amounting 500 million yen, approximately 1 billion of Sri Lankan rupees, for enhancing maritime surveillance and disaster relief capabilities through the first OSA project, or the Official Security Assistance Project. These advanced systems will be pivotal in enhancing our maritime domain awareness and disaster response especially, thereby bolstering both our national security and regional stability. Sri Lanka's strategic location in the Indian Ocean region along the vital east and west shipping lanes connecting the Strait of Hormuz and Malacca grants the country a considerable geopolitical and economic signature. Sea around Sri Lanka or Indian Ocean region is very vital for global commons. So the safety, security and safe navigation for SLOCs or the Sri Lanka or the sea lines of communication and ensuring the stable maritime governance is most significant. Japan's support in countering maritime threats and strengthening our maritime security is absolutely indispensable. We particularly acknowledge Japan's pivotal role in enhancing the maritime surveillance, modernizing the meteorological sector, strengthening Coast Guard operations, enhancing disaster risk management, and invaluable capacity building initiatives.
The port call of J.S. Akibono highlights the enduring friendship between Japan and Sri Lanka.
Sri Lankan big onion farmers say they are facing challenges in selling their harvest at a fair price despite state intervention to support local producers.
The harvesting of local big onions is currently underway across several major cultivation areas. However, uncertainty persists over market prices and demand, leaving farmers anxious about securing a fair return. Farmers in Anuradhapura, Kakirava and Moragoda say they have completed their harvests but continue to face difficulties in selling their produce at profitable rates. Farmers claim that traders are offering only 100 to 120 rupees per kilogram. They further allege that quality standards required by Lanka Satosa have become a barrier, preventing a significant portion of their stock from being accepted. Authorities meanwhile state that Lanka Satosa has commenced purchasing locally grown onions under the government's policy to purchase from domestic producers. A price of 140 rupees per kilogram is offered, but only for produce that meets the specified quality standards. To receive this price, the onions should have a diameter between 35 and 65 millimeters. Only up to 10% of the batch may exceed or fall below that size range. A kilogram should ideally contain 8 bulbs, all free from pest damage or spoilage.
We do not expect to buy out of standard products. When purchasing bee onions, we have set a specific standard. According to the SLS, the diameter should be between 35 and 65 millimeters. We don't measure an onion with a tape before purchasing. That is false. In addition, we check for spoilage or decay. That's the basic quality. In some areas, even though we have opened for purchasing, we still haven't received the goods yet. Bee onions are priced at 140 rupees, red onion at 225 rupees and potatoes at 210 rupees. The onions have only reached Kapitipula and not yet other areas. Other than that, no one has provided onion harvest.
Agriculture Minister K.D. Lalkantha also commented on the situation regarding big onions.
This is how it is with big onions. Every vegetable should meet a certain standard before we purchase. We are to provide these to local consumers. This is not for Lanka Satosa or for the employees to take home and consume. These are sold to supermarkets and other institutions. Therefore, when purchasing any product, we always check its standard. A man has died after falling into a mining pit in Pinnavala, Balangoda.
A 27-year-old man engaged in illegal gem mining without a permit has died after falling into a mine. Local residents, together with Pinnavala police, recovered the body from the site. It has since been taken to the Balangoda Base Hospital for a post-mortem examination. Pinnavala police have launched further investigations into the incident.
On to international news. Donald Trump has told a room full of CEOs at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea that he believes the US is going to have a deal with China and it will be a good deal for both. The US president is meeting with Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping on Thursday for a much-anticipated discussion on their country's trade war. Trump has met the South Korean president Lee Jae-myung, who is under pressure to finalize a trade deal.
Trump landed in South Korea on the final leg of a trip through Asia that also saw stops in Malaysia and Japan, with high-profile trade talks expected with South Korean President Lee Jae-myung and Chinese President Xi Jinping. US and South Korean warplanes escorted Air Force One on approach, and on the tarmac, a South Korean military band greeted Trump with a rendition of YMCA, and guns fired a salute. South Korea's leader is pushing for US approval for his country to acquire fuel for nuclear-powered submarines, which it wants to build to keep up with North Korean and Chinese submarines. Lee said he will increase South Korea's military spending to lessen the burden on the US.
돌발되긴 했지만 대통령께서 김정은 위원장과의 회담을 요청을 하고 언제든지 받아들일 수 있다라고 말씀하신 것은
we have a lot of industries that are together, and we have a lot of industries where we're leading in.
Earlier today, Trump received a replica of a gold crown from the ancient Korean kingdom, Silla. He was presented with the crown by South Korean President Lee Jae-myung at the Gyeongju National Museum. Officials said the crown symbolizes the spirit of Silla, which brought peace to the Korean peninsula for the first time. As a reminder, Trump was also given the Grand Order of intelligence operation. Several reports note that while there is no verified evidence of an assassination attempt, Jackson's senior military role and extended stay in Bangladesh have triggered widespread debate. His body was reportedly handed over to the US Embassy without an autopsy, raising further questions about the nature of his mission. Other reports add that Putin's unusual gesture of personally escorting Modi in his car during the summit may have been a security maneuver prompted by intercepted intelligence. Outlets claimed that CCTV footage from Jackson's hotel showed unidentified individuals entering and exiting around the time of his death, fueling speculation of a targeted operation. The first semi-final of the 2025 ICC Women's Cricket World Cup between England and South Africa ended in victory to the South Africans. They won the match by 125 runs after England were dismissed for 194 runs. South Africa became the first team to secure a place in the final of the tournament. The match is being played in Guwahati, India. England won the toss and opted to field first. Skipper Laura Woolward and Tasmin Brits gave South Africa a strong start, putting on a 116-run partnership for the opening wicket. Woolward reached a major milestone today, surpassing 5,000 career runs in ODIs and scoring her 10th century in the format. She top-scored with an impressive 169 runs. South Africa posted a total of 319 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in their 50 overs. All matches of the 2025 ICC Women's Cricket World Cup can be watched live on TV1, the official local broadcasting rights holder of the tournament, and streamed online at www.sirasatv.lk. And that's a wrap of your news for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.